Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. What an absolutely beautiful Monday evening. Sun is shining.
Yeah.
We're hitting some pretty high temperatures coming up during this week, high 70s to low 80s.
I think that's too hot for this time of year.
It's spring. What do you mean?
I like
gotta
it
get in
cool.
the summer
I don't
mood.
like it too hot.
The summer mood. You got to get into it. But let's focus on the Harvey Hour right now. Let's begin with our first topic. We got some breaking news that broke yesterday. Odell Beckham Jr. has signed a one-year deal worth up to $18 million with the Baltimore Ravens, and OBJ and Lamar were seen FaceTiming each other and then partying afterwards when that deal was officially made. So, I want to ask, Lamar maybe has gotten his wide receiver one that people have been claiming he's never had. So do you think Odell will work in this Baltimore Ravens system?
Well, I think it depends on who the quarterback is. I think has some bearing on it. But first, I'd like to say OBJ stole money from the Ravens. I think that deal for him is a great deal. He didn't play last year, right? And he hurt his knee, the same one. He's torn that ACL twice. He's unproven right now. And he walked off with $15 million guaranteed. I'd say this is more about the Ravens trying to lure Lamar Jackson back than it is about they're that committed to OBJ.
Right.
The 1-year deal. So $15 million guaranteed. That's a lot of money for him.
It is a lot of
he
money.
might only play one game. You don't know. I don't know.
I think it's going to be more than one game.
That injury is a bad injury, you know. Yeah. Whether he is fully recovered from that or not remains to be seen. Is he going to wear number 3? You've got him there as number 3 on there, or do we know?
Well, that's a jersey swap. I'm not sure we know his official number, but it looks like that this wasn't a Ravens-pleasing move. It looks like Lamar was trying to recruit OBJ. If they're FaceTiming each other and hanging out in a club partying after this signing has been made, it looks like Lamar was actually, sort of saying, hey, I'll stay with the Ravens if you want to come over. So I think this is more so Lamar's, or I guess the report was OBJ.
Oh, so the Ravens went out and got OBJ so that they're trying to get Lamar back. That's what I was saying.
Well, you're saying like the Ravens did this so the Ravens did this by themselves to say, hey, Lamar, we got this.
Oh, I didn't know that they were partying together and all that.
Well, I think it's more so Lamar saying, hey, OBJ. I think Lamar was talking to Odell, not the Ravens talking to Odell. I think Lamar said, hey, I'll stay. You want a place to come to? I guarantee you they're going to offer you a lot of money.
This is after he asked to be traded.
No, this is what do you mean?
Lamar said, I want you to trade me. And then he said, if OBJ comes and plays, we'll play together in the Ravens. That's what he said. I'm saying
Lamar's talking to Odell saying that, hey, I'll stay. They'll pay you money that you want, and then we'll play together. That Odell's under the impression that he's going to be catching passes from Lamar Jackson. And I guarantee you that's not coming from the Ravens. That's coming from Lamar himself.
Okay, so now Lamar's got to go sign his franchise tag.
Right, now because I don't think Odell, if he was under the impression that he was going to catch passes from Tyler Huntley or a rookie quarterback, that he would sign for $18 million with the Ravens, or up to $18 million. It's $15 million fully guaranteed.
You know what? I think for him, he should sign with anybody that would give him that money. That's a lot of money for him when he didn't play at all last year, and he's had 2 very bad injuries.
He was supposed to meet with the Jets
the same
today.
knee.
He was supposed to meet with the Jets today, but then the Ravens stepped it up yesterday.
No need to do that.
Right, no, the Ravens stepped it up yesterday by giving him a crazy amount of money. The last time we did see Odell, though, he was on pace to probably win Super Bowl MVP.
I'd say Odell owes Lamar something here, because even if Lamar doesn't sign back with the Ravens, Odell's going to get the $15 million guaranteed.
Right. So why would Lamar owe Odell something? All Lamar needs to do is just show up. No,
because I don't think OBJ would have gotten that kind of a deal from anybody else.
Right. Lamar saying, hey, they'll pay you the money. So come
right.
here.
So it's because of Lamar he's getting this great deal, not because of himself.
Well, I mean, I think it could be Lamar saying, hey, go after Odell, and then there's a higher chance. And then when I guess, because the report came out saying that Odell was going to meet with the Jets, I think that's when the Ravens like, oh, shoot, we're going to probably not get him. Let's pay him too much money for a guy who's tore his ACL twice now and who may play, 8 games and make $15 million.
I can't understand Lamar Jackson. I don't know what he's thinking. It's impossible to understand what he's thinking.
What do you mean?
He asked them for a trade.
Right.
Okay, it told him he wanted to be traded. Then he still has a price tag that is beyond what anybody else will pay. So there's no hope. Why would anybody really want to go after him, knowing that his price tag is beyond the reach from almost every team?
Right.
So now he's talking to OBJ, saying, "Sign with the Ravens, and we'll play together there." So what's he gonna? He's gonna sign the franchise tag and play for $32 million.
I think that's what we're gonna see now.
Okay, so then he's given up on getting the big money, and he realizes he blew it.
Probably.
And now he's going to go back and play for that.
That would be Lamar saying, "Hey, it didn't work out this year. I'll make my money next year."
But he's still under the same situation next year.
Right. Next year we're going to go through this whole cycle again, unless they can come to a long-term deal.
He might get hurt again. He might get hurt.
He may get hurt.
He'd be better off to drop his demand a little lower and have a trade partner. Have somebody that want him in a trade.
Kind of late for that now, don't you think?
No, I don't think so. Why was it late for that now?
Because I mean, he could
diss OBJ. He doesn't owe anything to him.
He could.
He did everything he needed to do for OBJ. He's getting a huge payday.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, 1 year, it's $13.835 million signing bonus, a $1.165 base salary, and $3 million in reachable incentives.
Yeah.
So
he won't reach those incentives with Tyler Huntley throwing it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But still, $15 million guaranteed for him, I think was a great deal for him.
I don't think Lamar is going to not be a Raven. I understand that. Before this, I was saying,
but why wouldn't he drop his high price tag?
He may have
he'd still wind up with a hell of a lot more than $32 million, and he wouldn't risk that his trade value or his market value will drop if he gets hurt again next year.
Because he would make a lot of money just the next however many years in his contract. He'll be secured, and that's what Lamar was hoping for, security. Because I think Lamar is actually smart enough to understand that his type of play style, like I've been saying, it doesn't last long. He's trying to get the most amount of money in his.
Well, then
peak.
That's why he should drop his guaranteed salary demand a little bit, so that he could have some suitors, some other teams that would come out and make some competition for the Ravens.
Right. No,
I don't understand him. I can't figure him out.
It's difficult because
maybe his mother is the one that's advising him. I don't know.
Well, I mean that they're working together supposedly, and they're trying to take down.
An agent ought to offer up free services to give him a little advice.
Free sample.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think? Okay, I want to take it from this perspective. Maybe I'm not too sure. The report is that Lamar and Odell. This was them. This is not the Ravens trying to say, "Hey, Lamar, we got Odell for you. Now come back." This is a Lamar and Odell thing. I want to take it from the perspective of what it may actually be, or what it could be, which is the Ravens and Odell. I'm not sure if the report was confirmed, but I do want to take it from that perspective, just as a what if, just to make things maybe interesting. If the Ravens are coming out and getting Odell and saying, "Hey, we know you haven't really had a wide receiver one through your 5 years of playing with us. We got Odell." First of all, I'm thinking about it now. Odell's not really number one material right now. He's a number two. He's a very good number two, but is he still number one? I mean, there's been footage of him, in these practices.
I think it's very questionable how good he is at all. He didn't play last year.
Yeah, that's true.
He's had a bad injury, the same injury to the same knee twice now.
Right. But he worked really, really well as a wide receiver 2 to 3.
He wasn't number one in the Rams.
He was no, because Cooper Kupp was having a great season.
Number one,
right?
And you know what? That helped OBJ a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Now they don't have that in the Ravens, so they'll be double teaming him.
It basically the Ravens are saying, Odell, you're a number one target. Besides Mark Andrews, but I'm talking about number one wide receiver. Absolutely, he's phenomenal. OBJ has more career receiving touchdowns than any receiver Lamar's ever had since he got there. The Ravens have the fewest receptions and receiving yards out of any team since Lamar got there in 2018.
Okay, well,
no other wide receiver core.
That's because they ran the ball more than 50%.
No receiver wants to go there. So when people say that, Lamar doesn't have a lot of talent, no receiver wants to go there. I mean, there are a lot of anonymous quotes from players saying, I want to get a lot more money to a guy who'll actually throw it to me. And I guarantee you, some people would take a shorter deal with a little bit less money on a team that throws more. So then when the contract's up, guess what? They're going to make a big payday if they cash in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get the same amount of money on a team that doesn't throw.
Well,
Your value gets cut into whatever piece.
Then they were lucky that OBJ came along then, because
I think it's the money. I mean, Odell's asking for $20 million a year, and then he dropped it down to 15. They're going to say, no, we'll give you 18. We'll give you up to 18, $50 million fully guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, he's got a lot to prove, I think, and he got a very good payday for that to prove it. He gets $15 million guaranteed no matter what.
Up to $18 million.
Up to $18 million. Yeah.
The Ravens. That I honestly, OBJ. Lamar should sign OBJ's agent. If OBJ is making $15 million,
I think that's
off
right.
a second ACL tear.
That should be, if they're out drinking together and partying, then maybe OBJ say, hey, why don't you take my agent?
Take my agent.
Look what he did for me.
Yeah. He should be in contact with Deshaun Watson's agent and OBJ's agent.
Right, yeah.
Anyone who got a steal, Lamar's sitting there by himself.
They only get 3%, Lamar.
Up to 3%.
Up to 3%.
It could be less.
You could probably negotiate 2 for your contract. It's going to be so big.
Yeah, no.
That's crazy. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't figure out that guy. He is, I have to say, he's his own worst enemy.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I guarantee you, this will continue for the foreseeable future. I don't think
at
the
it's
moment
going
this
to be solved
hasn't
anytime soon either.
We're going on a long path here that I don't know where exactly it leads to. Because with the Odell signing, it looks like Lamar's back on board, but then he's still got, like you said, the insane amount of money he's asking for. So here's the thing, will his pride allow him to sign the non-exclusive franchise tag and then play on that deal? Because he's trying to make a lot of money. That's the question.
Well,
will he give into that?
No, I think that his better move is to accept a little bit less money. He's still going to get. He could sign with the Ravens for $133 million.
3 years, 133.
That deal is out there for 3 years.
It was. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if the Ravens
he could probably still get a little bit better deal than that to go to another team, and they would probably bite on that, even giving up 2 free first-round picks to get him at a little bit more than that, and then he wouldn't risk that he might get hurt next year. If he gets hurt again, his value is going to drop.
It's tanking.
It's going to tank.
Absolutely, because that'll be 3 injuries in 3 years, and if no one's paying him because of this, one game, December and January, out of 12 potential games, and that's when teams need you.
Yeah,
when Lamar has set the Ravens up to make the playoffs, basically every year. But when you're not there, it's like, okay, you did all this work for what? For literally nothing.
Nothing.
To kill your own value.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This saga is never ending, and I don't see an end to this
crazy.
so far.
I've never seen anything quite like it.
Let's get into our next topic. We're going to the association, and that's basically what we're going to be covering the rest of this episode, the Harvey Hour. But let's get into this one. So, the Dallas Mavericks have missed the playoffs. Not only have they missed the playoffs, they've missed the play-in, even the extended NBA playoffs.
And they didn't even try to get into the play-in.
The Mavericks were under investigation by the NBA because they sat all their good players. They were playing with role players as their starters in their last game. And
if they'd won that game,
they would have been the play-in.
They would have been in the play-in.
They would have been the 10 seed. And now,
I don't understand. Why would they do that?
That's a good question. They have a top 10 protected pick that I believe the Knicks have. So if they would have won that game, the Knicks would have gotten whatever pick number they would have been. But now I believe they have a top 10 pick, so they retain that pick.
I understand.
So it's a little bit cheap. We'll see what the NBA does. I don't think the investigation's over. Whether or not they award the Knicks that pick or not, we'll have to see. But another curious thing with this last game was Kyrie declined to speak at his end-of-year press conference interview.
I don't think that's strange. You could expect anything from that guy. It doesn't surprise me at all.
You know what? You're probably right about that.
Yeah.
Because the last time we saw him do an exit interview, which was last year, about April with the Nets, where he basically mentioned how he was co-GM. Him and Katie were co-GMs of the Nets.
That's nuts.
And we figured out what that turned out to be. He requested a trade, and it was a whole debacle that terminated into this. Then the Mavericks went from the 4 seed to the 11 seed. Luka being happy playing basketball to saying that he's not having fun anymore. And it's an entire mess. Now the reports are out that Luka, there's nervousness around the Mavericks organization that next year Luka could request a trade, but he responded with that saying he doesn't know where the report came from. He's happy there. I think that's because he's going to say, hey, Mavericks, don't get Kyrie back. So I want to know your opinion about this. What do you think the next move from the Mavericks should be after going from the 4 seed 2 months ago to now out of the play-in at the 11 seed?
Get rid of Kyrie Irving.
That's step one.
Yeah, that's step one. You don't want that guy. He was just playing on a temporary deal anyway,
it was
right?
end of his contract.
He's end of his contract. Be interesting to see who wants him at next year. I bet he'd be playing for one of the lower teams.
You think
I don't think he'll be playing for one of the elite teams. They ain't gonna. Nobody's gonna take an elite team is not gonna take a risk on him. He'll be playing for one of the lower echelon teams.
Okay,
I think. I think that's for sure. I think that who is the GM of the Mavericks? That guy ought to be fired too. Who is it?
Why? Why do you think the GM should be fired?
He took a team that was going to go to the playoffs and ruined it.
You wouldn't put that on Mark Cuban?
Not him. Cuban. Who is the GM for the Mavericks?
I'll look that up.
They should get rid of him.
Nico Harrison.
Yeah, well, he blew it. I mean, when he brought in Kyrie Irving, that was the end of the team. They were headed to the playoffs. Right. They were number 4 seed. Right? They were doing great. That ruined the whole team chemistry. And guess what? Last year, they should have hung on to Jalen Brunson. Look at the season that guy's had. Right?
Right.
He's taken the Knicks to a place they haven't been in a while. And he's one of the big reasons why. And he's made the other players around him play much better. Look at Julius Randle. He's played much better this year. I think Brunson had something to do with that. Why did they let Jalen Brunson go? They should have hung on to him.
That's on Mark Cuban made a comment about that.
They made it to the conference finals last year.
Yeah.
With that team. Why would they let one of the key pieces of it go?
Mark Cuban said it's because of his dad. Jalen Brunson's dad, I believe, works for the Knicks. So Mark Cuban said that it was more so his dad that got involved with that.
Well, the Knicks ought to thank his dad then, because the Knicks have gone where they didn't think they were going with Brunson in there. They've got a chance to do well in the playoffs, I think.
However, Mark Cuban held Jalen Brunson's bird rights, which means that he could overpay to retain Jalen Brunson, and didn't do that. He had an opportunity to overpay for him and didn't.
He should have done that. That was a huge mistake.
My next move, I agree with you, is to get rid of Kyrie. But who are you going to replace him with? That's the big question. Kyrie and Luka are both tremendous offensive talents, and Luka Doncic's usage rate is absurdly high. Usage rate, for those who don't know, is the amount of plays you're involved in each possession. I think Luka's is like 38%, which is ridiculous. I believe it's second in the NBA, behind, I think, Giannis. So I took a little gander to see what free agents will be available next year. I didn't dive too deeply into this, so I could be wrong on some things. Maybe some guys are I don't know. I think all these guys are either restricted free agents, have player options, or I think all these have bird rights technically, but these are a couple people that I got. So the problem with the Mavericks this year was their defense. Luka doesn't play defense. Jalen Brunson, I think, plays pretty good defense. You got rid of Spencer Dinwiddie and Donovan, or is it Finney Smith? I don't know his first name. Those were two really, really good defenders that you left to, I think they both went to Brooklyn. So you got rid of your best defensive players. You brought in an offensive guru. He's a phenomenal offensive player in Kyrie.
It was a head case.
But you had no defense. So I looked up a couple good defenders. You got Dylan Brooks. He's, I believe, a free agent this upcoming offseason. I'm sure the Grizzlies will try to retain him, but he's like a Patrick Beverly, Draymond Green type of player. He's like a bully on the court. Physical player. He doesn't require the ball every time he gets down the court. He doesn't need to be involved in every single play. Actually, all these players are actually decently low on usage rate. I think that was, I tried to find a guy who would fit that sort of scheme where they can take a little bit of pressure off Luka and they don't need the ball in their hands to be successful. Karis LeVert, he's a part of the Cavs team. The Cavs are the number 1 defense in the league. So you take a guy off that team, and he's a very, very good defensive rating. I think it's better than Draymond Green. I think it's better than Dylan Brooks' actually. He's a really, really good defender, a premier guard defender. Same with Gary Trent of the Raptors, another very, very good defender, a very, very high defensive rating. So those two guys, Karis LeVert, actually 3 guys, Karis LeVert, Gary Trent Jr., and Dylan Brooks, all phenomenal defenders, I think, are really, really good defenders. Maybe phenomenal is pushing a little bit, but very, very good defenders. Kyle Kuzma, was on the Lakers. Now I believe he's on the Wizards.
Yeah.
On the Lakers, he wasn't really that great. You know, he's sort of, he didn't really blend with LeBron's play style. LeBron requires great shooters. At the time, Kyle Kuzma wasn't all that great. On the Wizards, surprisingly, like Kristaps Porzingis, revitalized his career. Kristaps Porzingis is a great big. He didn't really work well with Luka. He dealt with injuries. Didn't really work that well, so the Mavericks moved off of him. Kyle Kuzma, you bring him into that system, I think he's averaging 21 a game.
Did the Wizards make the playoffs?
No, I don't think they did.
Well.
I mean, hey, they were the 12th seed.
Yeah.
12th seed. But still, Kyle Kuzma, 21 points a game. I think he has 21%
I think
usage
he's a
rate.
good player. We saw him play.
And a guy that one of my friends said the Knicks overpaid for, or overspent for, I think they traded a first-round pick, was Josh Hart on the Knicks.
Yeah.
I think he's a pretty good guard. He's a good bench player. I think
he gets rebounds.
He's a seventh man. Yeah, he's very, very good. He can step into that role. Low usage rate guy, but he's very, very good. And there's reportedly you also have some guys that I don't think the Mavs would go for, like James Harden. I think is a free agent. He looks like he's going back to.
I don't think they need it. They don't want a shooting guard. They have Doncic.
Well, I mean, who's your point guard? Luka carries the ball up every time. That's what I'm saying. You want a guy that doesn't need the ball.
Yeah, but I would say they should. I agree with you. They should go for defense, and still let Luka be the main guy in shooting the ball.
I'm going to bring up two situations.
Maybe bring up one other good offensive guy.
Well, I'm going to bring up two situations. You tell me whether you're not going to like one of them, but realistically, you got to think about this. The first one is if the Heat don't go far in these playoffs. Do you separate Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and Kyle? Do you separate those players? If Bam Adebayo becomes available, do you think, would he work with Luka in that sort of play style? I think maybe. That's not a bad idea.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
And one that you may not like because it has to do with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown has definitely voiced his displeasure with the Celtics, especially the fans. He's voiced his displeasure with the team, and it looks like he's moving off. We talked about not this year, but last year, there were reports he was going to get traded for KD. That obviously didn't go through. This season, he doesn't feel like he's appreciated, I guess. It looks like he's 1 foot out the door of the Celtics.
Is he a free agent?
No, he's still contractually with the Celtics, but it looks like he's going to be gone. Like he's going to maybe request the trade potentially.
I don't know. If they win the championship, that may change.
Or he may feel, vindicated and say, hey, I did my job here. I'm going to peace out.
Yeah, but if he doesn't have the opportunity if he's not a free agent, then how can he do that?
You request a trade or force a trade, I guess. Next year is his last year of his contract.
Say.
He's going to be making $28 million next year, base salary.
Not bad.
It's not bad. His cap, it's going to be $30 million because he has a $2 million likely incentive.
Oh.
So I think Jaylen Brown.
Oh, he'd be a great pickup for the Mavs.
Jaylen Brown is a phenomenal number two.
No, he'd be a great pickup for the Mavs.
Think about it. With Jalen Brunson, he's a great number two. He's a very good number one. Like he's the number one guy on the Knicks, I think. Maybe a 1A and then 1B would be Julius Randle. I guess those you could say one or the other.
You know what? When he was hurt, the Knicks still played pretty well, though.
Yeah,
they did play well with Quickly. He played well.
Quickly and Brogdon are neck and neck for sixth man of the year.
Yeah.
We'll see who comes out. I'm going to give it to Quickly, I think. Just ahead over Brogdon. Although Brogdon has played phenomenal as a sixth man for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I told you, when that trade went through, we talked about it on the show, I said that is a great, great pickup.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be a starter. Apparently not.
No.
They gave him
I'd say if
Smart.
Jaylen Brown was available to the Mavericks,
you got to jump on that.
They have to jump on that.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's going to happen. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But if it did, then he would be the best of that bunch.
And I think if we want to go big man, Bam's not a bad option. Bam's a good number two as well behind Jimmy Butler. So, I mean, I think that's what you got to do. You got to go get someone that Luka could actually work with. Someone that doesn't require the ball like Kyrie did.
Yeah. Kyrie, that was a bad matchup. They should never have gone there.
I think they were just saying who's the best number two they can get.
They stuck with the team they had. They were the number 4 seed with the team they had.
Yeah.
They'd be in the playoffs now.
Probably.
With a pretty high seed.
Well, I don't know if they would stay as the 4th seed because KD went to the Suns, but I do think they would at least be in the play-in.
Yeah.
And then benching your starters and all your good players.
I guess they said, you know what? We weren't going far. We know we're not going far, so let's get the draft pick.
And then the NBA called them out on that, saying, "Hey, no, what that's a little weird."
Yeah, that is weird, and that's not fair to the fans.
I don't think that, but that's not fair to the other teams as well. You screwed over the Knicks doing that. I don't think. That's gonna be an interesting situation. What the NBA does about that, about the benching and the obvious tank that the Mavericks just did to get to qualify for that protected pick. I don't know. Mavericks, get someone that actually works with Luka. I think that's the big statement there. But coming up, we choose who will come out on top of the NBA play-in tournament starting tomorrow, and which matchup is the most favorable in round 1 of this year's NBA playoffs. We discuss that right after this.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
Or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic. We're talking about the 7 and 8, the play-in tournament. The 7 and 8, 9 and 10 seeds. Who will come out on top? It's an interesting matchup. We got Heat and Hawks. We got Wolves, T-Wolves and Lakers, Bulls, Raptors, Thunder, Pelicans. It's going to be an interesting play-in tournament. So I want to know, who do you think will secure the 7 and 8 seeds to then make their trip to the NBA playoffs this season?
First, let me say, I think the play-in tournament is a brilliant idea. I really think it's a great idea. I think it takes some of the, it keeps more teams into the mix. 2 more teams in each conferences are in the mix now that you didn't have before, and it puts more pressure on the 5 and 6 seeds to make sure they don't wind up in the play-in tournament. So I think it's done a lot for the competition in the NBA in terms of making the teams play harder, and it makes it less of an exhibition season as we go through the regular season and get to the playoffs. So I really like the play-in idea. I think it's a brilliant idea. It puts more teams into the mix, and it leads them to excitement, one and done situations, which I think really will step up the play of all these teams, right? So with that, I would say in the East, I like Miami over the Hawks. Okay, I think that Miami has the defense has been very good against the Hawks, particularly in the half-court set, and the Hawks are going to have to play very fast and then get back on defense quickly if they have any chance to beat Miami, because Miami's offense is ranked low, so they don't have the great three-point shooting. So if the Hawks can play fast and get back on defense and defend the three, I think they may have a chance, but I think Miami's going to beat them. And also, I think that the Hawks rely too much on Trae Young, and the Miami will be able to focus on him. And so I think Miami's going to win that game. Then I think Toronto is going to beat the Bulls. The Raptors won the season series 2-1. I think the Raptors, they have to find a way to control DeRozan and Levine and hold them to under 45 points, right? They each average over 24 points, so they got to keep them under 25 points. Siakam is the key for the Raptors. He's got to have a great game. He only played once in that series against them during the season, so maybe the Bulls don't have a good line on him and how to play him because they didn't play him that much. And the spread is lowest amongst all of the playing games. It's under 5. And in addition to Siakam, I think the Van Fleet, Trent, and Barnes, they need to play well for the Raptors to win as well, but I think they will. In the Western Conference, I like the Lakers to beat the Timberwolves. How did Gobert wind up getting suspended for this game? What did he do?
He punched Kyle Anderson. He punched him.
How stupid is that?
Because Kyle Anderson told him to
suspended for the playing game. It's only one game, Rudy.
Yeah,
it's only one game, and you're out. If you aren't even going to be able to play in it now. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I actually have a question. Raptors Hawks, who wins? Who gets the 8 seed? Did you say Raptors get the 8 seed?
The Raptors. Yeah,
Okay.
I said that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think the Lakers win only because Gobert isn't going to play. They have Towns back. He hasn't been back that long, right? He's a very good player. But I think that LeBron, they've got to win this game, right? And they got to get into the regular tournament,
right?
Because if they lose this game, it's really bad for LeBron.
Oh, it's going to be bad.
Really bad. So, and I don't think they will. I think they'll win. And then I think the Pelicans are going to beat the Thunder. The Pelicans won the regular season series, but all the games were by less than 5 points, so it's going to be close. The Thunder have 3 really good young players, Alexander, Giddey, and Williams, but they lack experience, and Pelicans have McCollum and Ingram. I think that they've got the experience factor. I think it'll be fun to watch Ingram versus Alexander, and I think that the Pelicans are going to win that game.
And then you go Pelicans Wolves for the 8 seed. Who do you got?
Then I have the Pelicans beat the Timberwolves, and I have the Hawks beating Toronto.
Gotcha. The Hawks beating Toronto. So the Hawks are your 8 seed.
I think the Hawks will get in, but I don't think they're going to beat Miami.
Okay. Yeah. So you got your 7 seeds the Heat, 8 seeds the Hawks. That's for the East. Lakers 7 seed, 8 seeds the Pelicans.
Yeah.
I think that's actually what I got. No, I have something different than you.
Oh yeah.
I have something different. All right. So my 7 seed, I actually agree with you on both accounts. I got the Heat. For everything you said. Now the Heat do have one of the worst offenses in the league. They scored the fewest amount of points per game in the league. However, they play really, really good defense as well. You got Jimmy Butler there. You got Bam. You got Kyle Lowry hasn't played great, and I meant to do a topic on my Harvey Hour Fired Up about how they were hoping that they get all-star version of Kyle Lowry and haven't gotten that. But
and Tyler Hero has not been much of a hero this year, right?
Just like last year, he's been a big 0.
Yeah,
that's the big thing. But you also have people stepping up. Kevin Love has been a really, really good pickup for him. I mean, surprisingly, considering his age, he's been very, very good for them. Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin, both people, along with Victor Oladipo, that I think the Heat should have traded away because we were talking about during the summer that the Heat could trade for it was KD because the Heat were in the running for KD. You trade, I think I said Kyle Lowry and Gabe Vincent and a couple other players to try to get KD. That obviously didn't go through, but Gabe Vincent has stepped up this year. Maybe Kyle Lowry, we'll see. I don't know if he'll play well. I don't think he will.
I don't understand what happened to Miami. They gave the Celtics all they could handle in the conference championship last year. Now they're in the play-in tournament.
Maybe they peaked.
I don't know what happened to
Maybe
them.
they peaked. Who knows?
They have basically the same team.
Yeah.
Right? So did they have injuries during the season?
Yeah. I mean, they added. I mean, I think Kevin Love has been actually a pretty good pickup for him.
Yeah.
So in the West, I agree with you. I picked the Lakers.
No, wait. So in the East, you have Miami winning.
Miami's my 7th. Oh, I'll go down my East as well. So for my 8th seed, I got Toronto beating the Bulls. Toronto's 2-1 on the season versus the Bulls. Fred VanVleet has been in those games. He played 3 games against the Bulls. One of which he shot like 1 of 11 from. He didn't have a great game. The other 2 he put up high 20-point games. So which version of Fred VanVleet we'll get? I think we'll get the better version of him. They also got OG. They got Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, but Siakam is the key.
I know. Siakam's obviously the key. But I think Fred VanVleet, we may see another crazy playoff performance from him where he drops 40 points. He's capable of having those. I'm sure Pascal Siakam will have a perfectly fine game. The Scotty Barnes, I think, is the big question mark. He had games where he scores mid-20s, 20 point, and then more recently, 8 points. It's the question of which version of Scotty Barnes will we get? I don't know. But I think if Siakam steps up and Fred VanVleet has a great series, or I guess a great game, handle the Bulls pretty easily. Yeah, I agree with you. Zach LaVine, you have to take account for. DeRozan, you have to take account for. I don't trust the Bulls as much as I do with this Heat. Plus, you have a Hall of Fame coach, Eric Spoelstra, who I think, when it comes to playoff time, he'll get his team ready to play efficiently in the playoffs. So I'm going to take the Heat, and I will take the Toronto Raptors. And then against I also pick Atlanta over who are they playing? Atlanta over.
You have Miami.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Toronto beating the Bulls.
Right. So then
the Hawks beating Toronto
in the 8 seed matchup.
That's exactly what I had.
Yeah, and although here's where I think you picked the Hawks at number 8. I'm going Raptors. I'm going Raptors making the playoffs, and here's why.
So that is different.
It is different. Our 8 seeds are different. Trae Young, for another season, has averaged the most turnovers per game at 4.1. This season, he averaged a total of 300 turnovers. The next highest guy is on the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, at 259. A 41 turnover difference.
Wow.
It's ridiculous how many turnovers Trae Young does. Trae Young also basically got his head coach kicked out of the organization. I just don't think, and besides, now there's a report out that the Hawks may, the Hawks owner may greenlight a potential to trade away Trae Young. The Hawks seem like they're falling apart. So I'll take the Raptors here. I think that's where we'll see. I think that's where we'll see Siakam and Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, OG step up. They're gonna beat the Hawks, the higher seed, and they're the 9 seed. Now they're moving into the 8 seed. They'll round out the bottom of the Eastern
you might
playoffs.
Be right.
I think it's gonna be interesting to see. And then going to the West, I'll agree with you because of Rudy Gobert's suspension because he punched his teammate.
It's crazy.
Hey, when you get told shut the F up, you be. That's what's going to happen. You're going to throw a punch. So I'm going to take them to lose to the Lakers. Anthony Davis versus, I have it here. Anthony Davis versus the T-Wolves this season. He averages 38 points a game, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, and he shoots 56% from the floor. Like, he plays very, very well against the Timberwolves. LeBron, he's played 2 games. He averages 23 points and 8.5 boards. So LeBron and AD play very well. Plus, you got Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, he's I forgot what they call him. They call him like a mini Kobe, I believe. So you got Austin Reeves. You also have Malik Beasley. You got Rui Hachimura. You got Vanderbilt.
And you have the guy that they got,
D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell.
So the Lakers actually are a very, very good team now. And we said they should make the play-in at least, and they have. Not only that, they're the 7th seed. They almost made it into the playoffs, which is even more impressive. So I'll take the Lakers to make it to the Lakers win, so they move to the 7th seed. And then in the 8th seed matchup, we got the Pelicans at the Thunder, and I agree with you. I think the Pelicans will win, and they will move up. Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum, even though CJ McCollum hasn't been as great as he was as a number 2 with Dame, he's still been more than efficient. And I got hate on this from my friends. Even without Zion, the Pelicans are still a pretty good team. Now, they were at the top of the NBA, at least in the Western Conference, when they had Zion. I mean, Zion plays out of this world when he plays, but he's never available. Brandon Ingram stepped up. CJ McCollum stepped up. The entire team stepped up. And yes, they're the 9 seed. They fell off. They still are competing for an NBA playoff spot. They're going to beat the Thunder, who I've actually held high regards for because of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's playing out of his mind. I believe he's averaging over 30 points a game. So I'll take the Pelicans to edge out the Thunder, move into the matchup versus the Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert's back. I'm taking the Timberwolves to win because I think just with the size, plus you have Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards right now could pace CJ McCollum. It's a question mark of can Rudy Gobert and can Cat slow down Brandon Ingram. They're gonna need to step up on defense, and you even have Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson needs to play good defense, and he definitely has his moments where he could be a lockdown defender. I'll take the T-Wolves to make it into the 8 seed. So I got my 7 seeds, Heat, Lakers, 8 seeds, T-Wolves, and Raptors. That rounds out my NBA play-in tournament 7 and 8 seeds. Which brings us into our next topic, a follow-through with this. Now we have our official round 1 matchups. Now I'm going to ask you, based on our previous 7 and 8 picks, so it's Heat Lakers for me, T-Wolves Raptors. You got Heat Lakers and Hawks Pelicans. Who do you have? Which matchup do you think now is the most favorable in round 1 of the NBA playoffs?
I think the Bucks against the Hawks. In my picks, they have the easiest go of it. They should be able to wipe out the Hawks. They got Giannis. He's an animal.
Greek freak.
Yeah. And on the west side, I think the Nuggets versus the Pelicans. I think the Nuggets will wipe them out too.
Okay, no,
in the first round, yeah,
that's not bad.
Go down through the rest of. Well, what do you think?
Well, I'll go down the rest of them. It's for you. It would be Nuggets, Pelicans. Then it's Grizzlies, Lakers, Kings, Warriors, Suns, Clippers.
I think the Lakers can beat the Grizzlies.
Ooh, who's gonna slow down Ja?
Well.
Yeah,
I think, you know what? Nobody's going to slow him down, but they'll control the rest of the guys. One guy can't do it.
You got Jaren Jackson Jr., Defensive Player of the Year, maybe.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I think if LeBron goes out of his, it's going to be near impossible. If LeBron goes out of his mind, I can maybe see it'll be a long series for that, but I don't know about that.
I don't know. LeBron's somewhat rested, right? He sat out for several weeks with that tendon tear in his foot.
Was it plantar fasciitis? I think he got.
Yeah, whatever they call it.
I think it is.
So he's back and he's healthy and he's rested. So I think it's hard to bet against LeBron. I have a hard time betting against him, particularly in the first round.
Right.
So and Anthony Davis has played a lot better. So, and you just said that they have a great team now, right?
If you go,
the question is, have they gelled? They've gelled enough with these other new players coming in to really be able to make a go of it? We'll see.
We'll see.
I think the Grizzlies do have a very good team. I'm just I like LeBron.
A little bit of a hunch, maybe, or just saying.
I like LeBron, but sometimes I deal on the emotional side of it. So
that's fair. All right, well, let's go down the East. Now you got Bucks, Hawks, then you got Boston Heat. There's a rematch right there.
Yeah, well, I think the Boston, they're going to beat them.
I agree there. You got Sixers, Nets, then you got Cavaliers, Knicks. Who do you?
Sixers, Nets?
Sixers, Nets. 3 and 6.
Yeah.
Somehow the Nets stayed in it. It's because of McCall Bridges. First of all, McCall Bridges played 83 games this year.
The Sixers are going to beat them. But Sixers will beat them.
They should.
I mean, they have Embiid.
Embiid, yeah.
Yeah, he's could be the MVP.
I believe he's favorited still. Him and Jokic keep going back and forth with who's the favorite. I want to get into my favorable matchups. I'll go with the West. The West, I'm going Suns Clippers in favor of the Suns.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think that's the most favorable matchup.
Yeah, that could be a good series, though.
Paul George is most likely going to be out of round 1. He's dealing with an injury. He got very late in the season this year.
If he's out, forget it.
If he's out, it's all up to Kawhi Leonard, who I don't think can carry a team past Chris Paul, Devin Booker. Then you got DeAndre Ayton and Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Kawhi is going to need to play out of his mind, and even then, I don't think they'll beat him.
They can't beat him.
You're dealing with probably the most crucial injury on your team besides Kawhi Leonard getting hurt. And which version of Kawhi are we going to get? Are we going to get insane Kawhi? Or are we going to get casual Kawhi that maybe drops like 21, 22 a game? But then, even then, how are you going to outpace the Suns? Kevin Durant has been averaging 26 points, and more recently he's 8-0 with the Suns when he plays. They're undefeated with KD. Then you got Devin Booker. He generally plays pretty good in the playoffs. You got the point guard who just had his career amount of 3 points made recently. I think he made like 7 threes. Then you got DeAndre Ayton, who's the big man that's going to slow down that offense, that offensive guru. But then you brought up the chemistry, the flow, the gel together. Are the Suns gelled together enough to really be successful? I think they're going to get past the Clippers. Hey, how about this? I say Kings in 5. What if I say Suns in 5? I think I'll get a little bit less hate if I say Suns in 5.
I think it is Suns in 5.
But then beyond that, you're going to get teams, that are maybe more experienced. And let's say they play the Celtics in the finals here. Are they going to be gelled enough to get past that team? Even if they play the Warriors, that unit, even if we're including the fight, the amount of veterans they have on that team, I think there's a chance they can come together, and that should be interesting because KD still has not played against the Warriors when the Warriors were at home. He still hasn't returned since he left the Warriors. So I think that may be an interesting series. But for the West, I'll take Phoenix over Clippers. I think that is easily the most favorable matchup. I don't trust Denver whatsoever. I don't care who plays them. I have the T-Wolves playing them. I don't feel great about that. I think when I talked to my friends about this before, it was the Warriors and it was the Warriors, Pelicans, and Timberwolves. I said that may not have a chance against this team. So I don't love that pick, but I don't trust Denver regardless. Grizzlies, I think, are too good, but the Lakers are very, very good now defensively. Kings, Warriors. I said Kings in 5. I'm not going to back down. Whether it's stupid or not, we'll have to see. We'll see. Game 1 is this weekend, actually, so we'll see how the Kings play against the Warriors, and I think it should be interesting. Kings at home. On the East now.
Again, I think on the Kings Warriors there, one of the unsung dark horse, whatever you call it, criteria here is the coach of the Kings, who was Brown, who was on the Warriors for many years. I think he knows that team inside out. And he did well against them during the regular season, right? Didn't the Kings play well against the Warriors?
They went 1-3 against the Warriors.
Really?
Yeah. However, though, Mike Brown did take that team from what it was to what it is now, an offensive juggernaut. He should be the coach of the year. That's what I'm saying. He should be coach of the year, but it'll probably go to other. It'll go to Mike Malone, which is the Denver head coach, or it'll go to Budenholzer, the Bucks head coach. It generally goes to whoever's on the top seed, but I would give it to Mike Brown personally from what he did for the Kings franchise as a whole.
We'll see.
On the East, I'm going to be a homer and say Cavs-Knicks. I'm saying in favor of the Knicks. I think I'm just spitballing here as a fan watching the Knicks this season. They want to get revenge at a guy who, instead of Jalen Brunson, they wanted in Donovan Mitchell. They tried to get Donovan Mitchell, and they couldn't. The Cavs beat him to it. Now they have Jalen Brunson. They said, look what you could have been in our team. I'm going to give it to the Knicks. Knicks win in 6 over the Cavs. I think that's going to be a good series. I like that series. Most favorable, now I don't think that fits on the category as most favorable. I would probably give it to other. I think the Celtics Heat may be an interesting. I know the Heat would be the 7th seed in our mocks here. I would give it, if we're talking about most favorable, which is technically the topic, I would give it to the Bucks as well. For me, it would be Bucks Raptors. I would give it to the Bucks. But just matchups I would love, matchups I'm going to love watching, it's going to be the Knicks and the Cavs. Strictly because it's the Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson
Knicks too. I think the Knicks have a good chance to win that series.
It's a question of who's going to be healthy. Randall's dealing with an ankle injury. Jalen Brunson seems to get hurt like every 5th game, and then he's out for a few games. And first of all,
he takes a lot of hits. I mean, that guy is he goes down the lane a lot.
Hey, put your body on the line.
Yeah.
Something the Warriors haven't done all year, which is another reason why the Kings are an offensive juggernaut and the Warriors play tiny ball. I'm not gonna let now. Kings in 5 may be a little bit of an overstretch, but still, Kings win the series.
That was your pick.
I'm not backing down from it.
I said Kings in 7.
I'm not backing down from it. I just find it interesting how to maneuver it. The Kings are an offensive masterpiece this season.
There is one wild card there. The Warriors did win the championship last year. You got to have the heart of a champion. Maybe when they get to the playoffs, they'll find it.
But the Warriors don't play like champions this year. Like now people
It's a new season now.
People have come at me saying, they just beat the Blazers by 56 points. The Trailblazers, they played like eighth men on that. Dame's out. Dame, they shut down Dame for the season. And you're going to say winning by 56 is an achievement that you need to talk about? The Warriors? Get out of here. Like, come on. Don't give me that. Beat the Kings in 5. And then I'll be like, okay, there you go. You shut down the number one offense. I'll give you props for that. But I don't see it. I just simply don't see it. But we'll see. We'll see Monday how they start off game 1 at Sacramento. Just down the road, which then again, that may give the Warriors not as bad of a disadvantage.
I'm looking forward to these playoffs.
It's gonna be a hell of a playoff series, I think.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
I agree. I do think that will wrap up this episode of the Harvey Hour.
I got one more thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
I got my Red Sox hat on tonight.
Yep.
They've got
They're on right now.
Series coming up against Tampa Bay, right? They're playing tonight.
Undefeated.
And Tampa Bay's undefeated. The Red Sox are going to beat them.
Oh.
To end that undefeated streak.
Well, as of right now,
the Red Sox play terrible in Tampa Bay,
which they're playing on right now.
Ever win? What are they behind already?
No, nothing. Bottom third.
Okay, so that's good. And
one hit from Masataka Yoshida.
Okay, so
also Nick Pavetta's pitching. So
well, sometimes he's good. Sometimes he can be good.
You're reaching.
He's the number 5 starter for them this year.
You're reaching now.
Yeah. So I'm hoping the Red Sox knock him off. That's my last topic, Nate.
You think with Nick Pivetta on the mound for game 1, I understand it may not be game 1. It may
it's
be
nothing right now.
Yeah, but
who's pitching for Tampa Bay?
I believe it's McClanahan. No, they already took out their starter. It was Jalen Beeks, and now it's Josh Fleming.
Huh? Maybe got hurt.
Maybe it's interesting. But I will say this: the Rays have had 3 hits. The Red Sox have 1. Not a good start.
Yeah.
But then again, though.
Also, Pivetta usually throws a lot of pitches. He doesn't make it. Sometimes he has a tough time getting to the 5th inning.
He does have more strike. Oh, no, never mind. 4 strikeouts for the Rays, 3 for Pivetta. Not looking too good for the Red Sox, at least.
What do you mean? It's nothing.
You can't trust Nick Pivetta. You can't trust. Like, he started off pretty great last year. He started off
one game where he was like lights out there for early in the season.
Was a near no hitter or something.
Yeah.
He had a tremendous game, and then he has these games.
Complete game.
He has these games where he throws like 50 pitches, like
in the first 2 innings.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and he gives up like 6 runs. Yeah. So you can't trust Nick Pivetta, and maybe not game 1 of the series, maybe game 2, 3, or 4. But I don't know. It should be interesting just how far the Rays could push it, because I think the record is 13-0. So if the Rays win this series, win 2 more of the next, there's the record book right there, 14-0.
They have a chance because the Red Sox generally play terrible at Tampa Bay. But I'm counting on them tonight to knock them off. In fact, after the Harvey Hour, I'm going to go put the game on and watch it.
Yeah, well, I'll let you get to that then, because I won't have this episode of the Harvey Hour. Wednesday, Harvey Hour fired up. That's my mini show to bridge the gap between our show Monday and Friday. So make sure to tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern right here. But if you want to see us again, Friday should be an interesting show how we exactly take it. I'm sure we'll go more into depth in some of these games, maybe some of the matchups featured on Saturday and Sunday's games. But until then, we will see you next time, either on the Harvey Hour Fired Up or on the Harvey Hour Wednesday or Friday. My name's Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are the Harvey Hour. We will catch you next time right here on YouTube.
Bye-bye.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch